We're back here at Old Colony, our project in Mesa, Arizona, and boy, have there been some major changes to our original game plan. The first change you'll probably notice is that we have a brand new roof. We were actually able to get everything knocked out roof-wise, and it ended up being a little bit more than we anticipated. That's why a lot of our entire game plan has changed on this property, because we ran into some unforeseen things, which is just a part of the game of flipping. So let's get inside and let's talk through some of those changes. So as we start first entering the property, you'll notice that we have all of our floors torn up, which is fantastic, but some of the big first changes we're gonna see is we originally talked about this wall going, this back wall going. We were gonna knock the whole thing out and do a big open concept, but that has drastically changed. This is just a situation where we were off a bit, and it wasn't because of the cost of the beam of knocking out these walls and doing that. It's the ripple effect of everything that happens after you put the beams in. So if we put those beams in, we'd have to raise the ducts, which means we'd actually have to replace all the ductwork. It would have been extra drywall, it would have been extra footers, it would have been extra a lot of stuff, and it ended up being 2 beams that we were gonna need instead of just 1 beam.
Sometimes when you're wanting to make a change in your flip, you have to keep in mind that there are other items that will increase, and at the end of the day, it does become a lot more than you expected.
Sometimes we have to take a look at, okay, what's the least amount we can do then in that case when it comes to moving walls, and can we still get the value out of it that we think we can get from it? And I think the answer is yes, because we were able to still open up the kitchen, and we'll show you guys what that looks like.
So come on in.
All right, so as we move into what is now the kitchen area, the elephant in the room is, what the hell is this big hole in the ground? You know what I mean? Like, when I say that there's sometimes changes that we're forced to make on a fix and flip, that's the situation we're dealing with right here. We had to cut through in order to make room for the new washer dryer section of the house, and as we were opening all of it up, we realized that we had some gross, disgusting pipes.
Ooh, you're brave.
Rusted out, and we don't know how bad they are throughout the rest of the house. So there is the risk here of, shoot, we need all new pipes.
I would highly recommend always, if possible, getting a sewer scope early on in your projects, especially when your homes are built between like 60s, 50s, 40s. This house is 70s, so we actually didn't do one, clearly, but the only reason we're running now into this issue is because we just found out.
We basically just have to accept a loss. And there's nothing worse than flipping a house and knowing the entire time you're just gonna take a loss.
Yeah, that's like working for free.
it's like paying somebody for you to work.
Sign me up.
Literally.
Never.
But let's talk about some of the cabinets. So we originally talked about doing a blue kitchen. In this situation, we had our cabinet folks over at Essential Cabinets and Flooring, who you guys saw at one of our other videos. They said what? White shaker is our least expensive. It's the most cost friendly when it comes to doing any kind of kitchen. We can get you this green slim shaker for the exact same price as the white shaker cabinets. So this has a little bit more design element to it. We're not gonna be doing the blue kitchen. People still love green kitchens. I'm not gonna cry over it. It's great. It actually gives us, I think, a more luxurious feel.
Yeah.
And we're gonna pair it with this 5x5 white Chloe tile that's gonna be on the backsplash, so it brings some light to it. It's not too dark, because this is a dark color.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna pop really well together. Together. We've decided to actually center the stove here. We have all of our lowers. We're gonna have our uppers with a microwave area unit that's gonna be right here. We're still gonna put our sink on this side, but then where does the fridge go? What do we do with the fridge? Well, we made the awesome decision of blowing out this area where we had our laundry unit. So now we're gonna do an insert fridge on this side. We're gonna make the rest of this pantry, and it's gonna be the same cabinets that are going for the peninsula, going for this area, so it ends up making it feel like this big open kitchen. Now, where the beam would have had to have gone if we were going to still be doing the beam situation and opening this whole thing up, would have been right here at this corner, and it would have been right back here on this corner. So it would have given us the opportunity to open up more of the walls. Getting rid of those options actually reduced our time frame significantly. I remember originally you were talking about a 3.5 month time frame. That is now going to be shortened by literally probably a couple months.
Yeah, 2 months max now with all the changes.
All right, and as we come into our bathroom here, if you guys remember, we said we were gonna be replacing the tub and we were gonna tile the bathroom. That's exactly what we did here. And we have all of our tile crew here today, actually installing all of the tile. It took an extra week to get all the tile in. I think this is gonna look beautiful. I think it's stunning. And then we're also gonna do a brand new prefabricated vanity in here as well, right?
Yeah, yes we are.
Our prefab vanity, I went on Wayfair. Wayfair had one in here that's actually the same green color with all of the hardware. The top's already included. It was a single sink in there too. So
nice.
Perfect fit, and it was only $8.99. We get everything built in, and it's as simple as the crews get to basically have this delivered here, which it comes in tomorrow, by the way, just let me know.
Good to know.
Comes in, and they can just place it and plop it in and then secure it to the wall. So makes it easy for everyone.
Love it. job.
Woohoo! All right, so as we keep moving through here, our bedrooms, there's nothing really too exciting about the bedrooms, but there is something that I will point out when it comes to these, is that I know in the original video, we talked about replacing all the windows, but because we have to be really conscious of our budgets here now, we're only gonna replace what really has to be replaced. So we were gonna do all new dual pane windows. In this situation, I don't think we need to. And in fact, I think most of the windows in this house actually do work and they are all operable. So one of the nice things of buying what was a previous rental is that the landlords do have to stay on top of some of these things, otherwise they can get sent to prison. In this situation, we're actually just gonna keep some of the existing windows and only replace what we really have to replace because we're trying to be cost sensitive. All right, and as we move into our primary suite here, who remembers the primary bathroom where we had the wall that led to nowhere?
I do.
We busted through it and here we are. We have this beautiful Chloe tile, and the reason why I decided to take this Chloe tile and do a stacked vertical lay on this is because it makes it feel like it's a little bit taller than it actually is. So your eyes are drawn up a little bit more, it makes it feel like it's taller. We have the shorter ceilings because we have our ducts dropped here, so I wanted to make it feel as big as possible. The wall came out like this, and it was a lot smaller, so we've just given ourselves a bigger shower, which is really, really awesome. And then we'll also do another prefab vanity here that matches the other one that we have for the other bathroom. All right, as we move back into our living room area, who remembers the weird permitted addition that we had where it sloped like this? Now it no longer slopes. Right? Look at this. This turned out really nice. I'm super, super happy with what this looks like. Everything's leveled out now. We ended up not doing a closet on this side. We ended up doing a closet on the opposite side, which is right over here, just because it made more sense. And it leaves all this open space. Like you could do desk areas, you could do a small bedroom. Like this ended up turning out to be a great space.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so as we keep working through, we have our new laundry area that's right off the kitchen. This turned out really great too. This is a great space. We'll have both of our units here. There's a good amount of space. You can still put storage in here. We have this big window.
Really nice window.
And then we're also gonna have a new door that's gonna be in here that's gonna let more light in. Yeah. So it just gives us a really good feel. This was your idea.
Aww.
Good job.
Teamwork.
I love that. So as we work our way out here, you'll see we have a ton of trash because we've been doing a ton of demo. So it's all still out here. Let's talk about the roof for a little bit because we really didn't think the roof was gonna be as crazy as we thought it was going to be. It looked like it was just a foam roof. Even the roofer was like, I can just slap shingles on top of this.
Right.
But after we took a deeper look at that, it was a different story.
Yeah, 3 layers of shingles.
And then they did foam over the top.
Yeah.
So this is putting a Band-Aid on top of a Band-Aid, on top of a Band-Aid, and then they said, we can't put any more Band-Aids on. Let's just wrap it in gauze and call it a day. That increased our budget on the roof. We thought it was gonna be $5,000. Now it's $9,000. It is what it is. But again, we pivot and fix and flips. Things happen. Sometimes you can't account for everything. We do the best we can. We put contingency reserves aside. So we're still technically on budget for what we're supposed to be doing this property for. It's just we had to make a few changes, a few pivots.
Pivot.
Pivot! Pivot! So another change that we did end up making is that we actually moved the location of the water heater. If you remember, it was where the original washer and dryer section were. We moved the washer and dryer over to the new laundry area, but putting the water heater in that laundry area really would have made it felt like way too crammed. It just would have been small. It's not that it's a small laundry area, but it's just not a big laundry area either. So we wanted it to feel more open and larger. So we decided to move the water heater over to the storage. Come check this out.
There's that new water heater.
So something really funny about this water heater is that Anna called me in a frantic and she's like, dude, yo, I just showed up to the property and the water heater's gone. Like, I don't know where it's at. I'm afraid that the crew threw it away. I was like, yo, no, this is a brand new water heater. Like, this is January 2025. They just installed this thing. She's like, but I called Benny, who's our GC. He's inside right now. He's like, nah, dude, we already moved it to the storage. Like day one, moved it to the storage. The storage was locked. We've never had access to the storage. So we were like, oh, thank God.
I know. What a relief.
Like maybe have a little bit more trust in the crews, right?
Just a little bit.
All right, and so the last thing that we have to consider when it comes to doing these projects, it's how does the exterior look? What's the landscaping look like? We obviously don't want to leave it as all just dirt like this, especially if we're trying to get a top price point in this neighborhood. So we had our landscaper, Guillermo, come out here, give us a quote, and give us his ideas. He came by, gave us a really budget-friendly option here. This main area that we're standing in right now, so basically the entire covered patio area off to the wall is all gonna be grass. He's putting a little irrigation system in. He's gonna throw some grass seed down. We're gonna get it growing back. Now's the perfect time for that in Arizona because it's just now moving into Arizona's spring. And then basically everything after the covered patio, this way over, is all going to be gravel because that was the lowest cost option for us to do this. I like to have a little bit of green, which is why we're doing the grass. Turf would have cost way too much. And then in the front yard, we're gonna do all gravel as well. So it's gonna be the same matching gravel, like a charcoal looking gravel back here as we have in the front. Just gives the entire outside a very fresh, clean look, and it's very low maintenance too. All right, guys, obviously there's been a lot of changes that we've had to make with this property, and there's changes that are still happening on a day-to-day basis, like the plumbing issue that we just ran into. Where do you think we're gonna end up with this property? How much work do you think we're actually gonna have to do? Where do you think we're gonna be all in on the budget? I don't know at this point.
We're really in the thick of it.
Yeah, I hope we don't have to keep this one.
Into the thick of it.
Into the thick of it.
Oh.